Good afternoon, students. Welcome to our math class today. We are doing multiplication and division from Unit 12. Today we're going to work on division because previous weeks we've already dealt with multiplication, okay? Division means that you are doing groupings of your numbers or you are sharing, which most of you are already aware of that. So today we'll be going through some few examples to help us to understand what a division is and how we can find the easiest and the quickest way possible to find solutions to our division problems, okay? Okay, so the first example we're going to look at is 12 divided by 3. That means you have 12 items and then 3 people are going to share. So if you have 12 and 3 people are going to share, it means each person in a group of 3 is going to get 4, okay? 10 divided by 5 means you have 10 items and 5 people are going to share these 5 items. That means if you do your counters and you do your groupings, it means that every person in the 5 group is going to get 2. Okay, so if you have 20 items and 4 people are going to share these 20 items, that means you have 4 people and then you have 20 items. So when everyone is picking, it's going to end up that everybody is going to get 5 of the items that you get. So that is about using groupings and sharing to find your answers also. One other way that I'll also want to show you today is that whenever you have a division like this and you want to find the answer very quickly, what you have to do is that you have to ask yourself that 3 times what number will give you 12, okay? So this is the subject and these are the items that you are dealing with. So the value here, which is the smaller one, you ask how many of it do you need to multiply to get the bigger number. So we know that when you multiply 3 by 4 is going to give you 12. That means when you divide 3 by 12 is going to give you answer 4. Okay, so you can use the inverse or the opposite of this equation to also find your answer. Okay, so the same way, if you have 10 divided by 5, it also means that when you have 5 and you multiply by 2, it's going to give you 10. That means 5 going to divide 10 is going to give you 2 as your answer, okay? 20 the same way, it means when you multiply 5 by 4, it's going to give you 20. So you can either use the inverse to find your answer, or you can use grouping and sharing to always find your answer for a division equation, okay? So there are other examples that we can find in our first activity, that is task 1, that can be found at page 41, 42 and 43 at the learner's book session. So after you've completed this task, we will go to our second video. So I'll see you in the second video. Hello students, welcome to our second video. Our second video, we're going to look at how we can use groupings to do our division when we have a situation whereby it involves some sentences that we need to complete the blanks, okay? So the first example, we have 20. So we always accept that the first number that you find here are the items that you are dealing with. And the second number after the division sign is the subject, or we assume that are the people who are going to share the items. When we have those concepts, it makes the division very easy for us to always handle. Okay, so the 20 here becomes the item, and the 2 here becomes the persons or the people who are going to share the items. Okay, so with our sentence that we have here, it's saying I started with a blank items and made groups. You continue. Okay, so that means you started with the items over here, and then you put into this number of groups, and then we find out how many of the groups are you going to find at the end of it when you put it into your blanks. Okay, so the first equation is about 20 being divided by 2, and we're going to have 10 over here. Okay, so to put it in this statement, we're going to say that I started with 20 items, okay, and made groups of 2. Okay, so made groups of 2. Okay, so made groups of 2, and there are 10 groups. Okay, so we say 10 groups, because when 2 is going to divide your 20, it means you're going to have an answer of 10. So it's going to be 10 groups when you group it into that particular equation. Okay, so let's go to our second question. Okay, so with our second question too, we're going to see that we're going to divide 2 by 68, and that is going to give us 3, 4, that is 34. So you say that you started with 68, and then the item you made groups of 2, so you have to put your 2 here. And then over here we say that there are 34 groups. Okay, so this is an example of what we're going to do in your second activity. So when you turn to page 35 at your skills builder section of your textbook, you have 2 spinners there. So this is what you have to do. You have to take any number from this section, okay, and then you put in the second box, and then you take any number from this section, and then you put in the first box, and after that you do your equation, and then you complete the sentence there, just as we have done on the board. Okay, so just as we have done on the board here. Okay, so I'll see you in the third video after you've completed this particular task. Thank you. Hello students, welcome to our third video. Our lesson has been on division, and we are using the 2 main concepts of division to find answers to our division equation. That means we are using grouping and that of sharing to help us to find answers to our equation. One thing I want you to remember is that when you are dealing with division, the first number that you see here, you accept that that particular number is your items, and after the division sign, the next number there becomes assuming like the people or the persons that are going to share that particular item. If you are using grouping, it means that you are putting them in a group that is supposed to be equal. Okay, so the group that you put them are supposed to be equal, like 20 divided by 2. It means that in that group everyone is going to get 10, 10, 10 each. So once you know that the group is going to be equal, then it means that it is possible to carry on with your division. In this particular lesson, we did not handle anything with remainders. Okay, so in our subsequent lesson, we're going to go a little bit advanced or more into our division exercise, whereby we're going to deal with some remainders and see how we can handle remainders when you are dealing with divisions using groupings or that of sharing. We will have our homework that will also help us to understand our lesson on division, and then we will meet again next week. Goodbye.